This little fish looks like he just had his cherry popped. Wonder if he's still got some atom. Let's walk. Quick! Doro, quick! Sharper. These little fish I was out with not Big Daddy. Yellow! Always have been. You'll be no better off with the metal daddy, little fish. See you floating.
Look, Mr. Bubbles, it's an angel. I can see a light coming from his belly. Wait a minute, he's still breathing. It's alright. I know he'll be an angel soon.
You alright, boy? First time playing with a real kicker on you, but there's nothing like a fistful of lightning now, is there? that's changed everything. They destroyed our bodies, our minds. We couldn't handle it. Best friends butchering one another. Babies strangled in cribs. The whole city went to hell. Brenda, you care to tell me what you got a hole in the size of Plymouth Rock? Now, I ain't saying Shakespeare, trying to run a respect. I got work coming in more than that, trying to get to the version. And all I can think about is a stink coming out of your shitter. Get it fixed. Careful now. Would you kindly lower that weapon for a minute? You think that's a child down there? Don't be fooled. She's a little sister now. Somebody went and turned a sweet baby girl into a monster. Whatever you thought about right and wrong on the surface, well, that don't count for much down at Rapture. Those little sisters, they carry Adam, the genetic material that keeps the wheels of Rapture turning. Everybody wants this. Everybody needs this. That's the big daddy. She got his arm. He keeps him safe.
Hey, I'm Jeff Keighley here in Boston to go behind the scenes to hear some untold stories about the making of Bioshock with Ken Levine and Sean Robertson. Let's talk a bit about the theme and setting of Bioshock Rapture. I think a lot of people, when they played the game for the first time, they wondered, how did you even dream up this place? And I know you said publicly before that part of the reason what led you to Rapture was this idea of fully simulating a place. Tell us about that sort of idea and the frustrations you've had with other games where you sort of hit them down.
I think our philosophy is always to do what we were doing 100% rather than try to do something bigger and do it 50% or 40%. So one of the ideas of, this sort of came from System Shock 2 as well, where you focus on an area that you can really bring to life and you kind of eliminate the questions of, well, why can't I go over the bridge to New Jersey? So we were able to really make a place, I think, that felt believable and real, even though in actuality it was really quite limited. But we just sort of dressed it with all these buildings outside that were all, we're all basically glorified fake. So let the story drive what we needed to show rather than some kind of like predetermined map which we set down. But it's a little different than like System Shock 2, where we actually mapped the spaceship out deck by deck. Yeah. Because I don't know why the philosophy felt a little different there, because you wanted to feel like a real spaceship that was sort of stacked on top of each other. Rapture was free to sprawl across the ocean floor.
Well, you guys originally, John, were talking about doing this game on a sort of spaceship again, right?
Yeah, when we first started talking about what the spiritual successor to Bioshock 2 was going to be, spaceship came up, but again, we wanted a limited environment. We didn't necessarily want to do spaceship again. And our first actual exploration of the space was underwater, but ultimately ended up looking like a spaceship. It just happened to have a couple of seaweed fronds outside, and that started to push us towards what artistic statement that we wanted to make this look different, and what rules we were going to set for the world. How at every turn we were going to try to remind the player that they were in fact in the water, and that this wasn't a spaceship.
And how, like, underwater, we obviously know you did underwater, in the sky, like, where did you come with the idea of, like, doing this underwater?
I think there was probably a conversation. It's like, well, what kind of place could be cut off from other places?
Yeah.
Like, well, a spaceship, a summer camp, any island notion, right? Something that's cut off from the rest of the world. So you never felt like you should be able to go over that bridge in New Jersey.
I don't want to apply some deep and meaningful conversation. I think it was one of those ideas that you just kind of say, and everybody, that sounds cool. Let's try that. Let's go for it.
And I think it lended itself to having very nice views out the window without having to build in the same amount of unique assets.
Right. By today's standards, we still were a small team back then, and there's an expectation that because you're underwater, the view distances are going to be short, so you can really kind of fade out into the fog at a short distance and not have the expectation that why can't I see forever. So there's a lot of limitations in a good way that we put on ourselves by being underwater, as opposed to, like, if you're on a cruise ship and you'd expect to see across the water, and we'd have to deal with that. Same thing on an island
Or
and outdoors.
sky.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was a lot more complicated.
Yeah. So you came up with the idea of, let's do this underwater, let's do this sort of isolated place. Then you answer the question, why would someone build this? Is that sort of how it worked, sort of order of operations? You then had to come up with a story to explain?
Yeah, I think we wanted a very believable reason why we'd be there, and sort of the necessary isolation of the place sort of led to what kind of person would want to do this. And I wasn't even particularly aware of sort of the political implications of what I was reading, but I've been reading Out of the Fountainhead by Ayn Rand, and I mostly thought it was an interesting story. Like, I didn't realize that people were sort of basing their sort of political lives around it, because I wasn't that tuned in that stuff at that point. And so, but I love the dialogue and kind of speechifying it, because you can see a video game character speaking with that kind of certainty and that kind of confident philosophy. It just like a natural kind of thing to apply to this place. And so it just sort of all came together as a sort of who is the guy who would do this? Well, that character. It was sort of this amalgamation of characters from Ayn Rand's books and Ayn Rand herself. This sort of idealistic person who says, well, the only way to do this is to separate from the rest of the world. And that led to Andrew Ryan.
I am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone.
We knew, from a technical standpoint, that we wanted isolation. We also knew to sell it, we needed a compelling storyline, a backstory that why would this place exist? Otherwise, how are we going to make Rapture feel like it's lived in if we don't have the reason for it to be there? So once we decided on the underwater location and then the closed-off spaces, that objectivist story kind of came in and made the art stronger and made the level design stronger, because we could feed back into that loop.
And I think that's why we had to have sort of Andrew Ryan's pitch right at the beginning of the game. A lot of people don't understand why somebody would go there. And so he makes this very personal one-to-one pitch to the gamer, but also that was a pitch he made to people, which was, there's a place that you can be free of all these things, or you could not be sort of put upon by the government, not be afraid of nuclear war, and not be afraid of all these other things that will plague you on the surface. Now, we wanted that pitch to sort of resonate, to make sense, because that's, otherwise by the time you got there, you'd be like, well, this place is just fantasy. Nobody would ever come here. And the beauty of the place was also tied into that. It had to be a very attractive proposition, or people who would believe that people would go leave their lives and go to the bottom of the ocean?
I'm sure some ways you had to convince the team and roll them in your sort of vision of, who this character was going to be and what the setting was going to be. How did that work? Sean, you can come in and say, hey, I've been reading these books. I think we could sort of...
Levy just came in one day on a horse and said, and ran. Everybody read the Fountainhead.
Exactly. I bought 30 copies of the...
Yeah, I think,
Here's a 2,000-page book or something.
Yeah.
Go read it.
It really is more organic. Like I said, we knew that we had this location, and you struggle to fill it with stories, and you struggle to find meaning of why does this place exist? What's my motivation? And as Ken started to explore on random a little more and started talking to us about it, and we were having that conversation, and it's like, oh, this could totally work. Like, this is exciting. Like, this is something that really hasn't been done in a video game before. And if we had flipped it and come up with the idea first before the location, I don't think we would have really been that excited about it. But we had a location, and now we're trying to fill it with that story. And because of the order of operation there, you start to get excited, like, oh, I can totally make this work. This is going to really make it feel like a lived-in space.
As you think of sort of the setting, and you think of maybe characters, was there a moment that you think back, like, oh, like right then and there, like I got excited when you attached.
For me, it was going to Rockefeller Center and seeing the visual. So I told you before, but my wife and I were in New York, went to Rockefeller Center, which was, if you go to Rockefeller Center, basically it looks exactly like Rapture. Because every building, you're sort of encircled. It's this block in New York, or a couple of blocks in New York, where Radio City Music Hall is, and 30 Rock Plaza is where you see that show, 30 Rock, and the ice skating rink, and where the Christmas tree, and it's this very iconic location. But what's cool about it, it's all one, unlike the rest of the city. Everywhere you look, it's one architectural style. It's Art Deco, and it's very iconic Art Deco. And my wife and I were there, and we were sort of working on the game. We didn't have a visual style, and all of a sudden I started looking around, and I said, oh, this could be a visual for a game. Also, the geometry of it is actually quite conducive to making a video game, because it wasn't overly complicated geometry. Art Deco was quite old and geometric, yeah, simple. And so my wife and I bought a couple of tourist cameras before iPhone cameras now.
Throwaway cameras?
Yeah, throwaway cameras, those little Kodak things, and we just started photographing doorknobs and light fixtures, and sort of developed the photos. Remember that? Brought them in and said,
the officers stack of stuff.
Photos. I'll see you guys in a couple of years to go make this.
The artist would not be in a sense, where the scientist would not be bound by any morality, where the great would not be constrained by the small. The sweat of your brow, rapture, can become your city as well.
So you had kind of a theme, came up with an art style, some of the iconic characters, and then you really had to build the narrative around it. And you talked about a lot of the themes in the game, and greed, jealousy, sex, violence, all the things that sort of drive us or what destroy us. And that was something I think that as you thought about the story of the game, you wanted to, I'm sure, reflect some of those. Right? I think people love the characters and sort of flawed in a way. And this is a world which is its own little microcosm, but had a lot of tension inside of it.
Yeah, I mean, the character of Ryan was sort of, he's basically invisible in most of the game, right? Except for a very small portion. But he's very present because he exists, the city is him, right? It's such a representation of him. We never want to cut away to a cut scene. We saw him, Ryan, planning, scheming. We wanted to be very present without actually being present. But once you had Ryan, once you had his desire to protect this vision of his, you just had to come up with a character to be arrayed in opposition to him. So we had this character, Big Daddy, and then eventually the character of Little Sister, and so characters like Tenenbaum came along. Here's a person who's in opposition to him for this reason, and then you have, for more noble reasons, and then you have a character like Alice, who's much more cynical opposition. Once we had all the characters right, we're like, well, who are you? And you ended up being sort of a pawn in the middle of all this opposition to Ryan. We just kept homing in on that theme, making sure that you weren't, eventually figuring out that you couldn't just be here by an accident, that you were an integral part of this story, even though you don't know you're an integral part of this story. You think you're just there by happenstance.
Look, Jabels, it's an angel. I can see light coming from his belly. Wait a minute. He's still breathing. It's alright. I know he'll be an angel soon. But Dr. Steinman was very attentive. He told me that once the scar tissue was gone, he was going to fix me right up. Make me cleaner than any girl I've ever seen. He's be alright. He's so interested in my case.
Set up shop in the surgery wing. You want to find out? Just follow the road. Adam presents problems for the best. As your tools improve from your standards, there was a time I was happy enough to take on a ward to turn real circus freak into something you could show in the daylight, but that was then. When we took what we got, but with Adam, the flesh becomes clay. What excuse do we have not to sculpt until the job is done?
citizens have discovered ways to hack the vending machines. I should not need to remind each and every citizen of Rapture that free enterprise is the foundation upon which our society has been established. Parasites will be how many catastrophes were lost with the word? It's the king and country crowd who light the torch of destruction. It is this great inversion, this ancient lie has changed humanity to an endless cycle of guilt and pain. Why do you have two eyes? There's a law that says we must. You've got to find some way to get through the surgery. Stop. Chin up now. The Lord ain't a quitter. I can hear that slice that they're sounding off like it's the 4th of July. Explosives are hard to come by down here. If you get your hands on one of them telekinesis blasts, you can catch that firebomb and toss it right back at God. Or anything else that might be standing in your way.
Picasso became bored of painting people, he started representing them as cubes and other abstract forms. The world called him a genius. I've spent my entire surgical career creating the same tired shapes over and over again. The upturned nose, the cleft chin, the ample bosom. Wouldn't it be wonderful if I could do with a knife that old Spaniard did with a brush?
They're shorty cameras. I can hear these for little things all around you. Brian, eyes and ears.